Morning, everybody. What up, Coco? Also, that's a great name. Coco Jumbo. I love that shit. How's everybody's morning been? Hopefully you're all getting caffeinated. Oh! More good afternoon from Nigeria. Well, Trio, how's the entire day been? I've been awake for an hour. Got a late start to my day. What up, Zool? What up, Darlaby? What up, everybody? We'll give it another few minutes. We're gonna have a few other folks joining. We'll be doing good afternoon from the UK. What up, Adam? Hopefully you've had a good day too, dude. Gonna give it a little bit, let a few more people hop in, but we'll be doing the Rise Up Morning Show over here on my channel. Evan and Alex will be joining a little later. What up, Crowman? Afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time you're in. Hope you're doing good, everybody. Thanks for. I hope you have a good day. I hope I have a good day too. I appreciate that, Adam. It's gonna be a busy day. It's gonna be a busy day. Got a lot to do after the live stream. Have to clean the apartment to get ready for all my girlfriend's stuff coming into the place on Friday. Got to put out at least 2 other videos I want to put out for the show. I got 3 client calls throughout the day. And then, let's see. I have to go get ramen with my girlfriend. Shucks. And also, Billy Watts, Stephen Borowitz, what's up, dude? Yeah, and then, if you guys are ever in the Massachusetts area, you gotta go to Mecca, which is, it's like a local chain ramen spot, but it's so good. The TVs, and then you can get boba tea that is alcoholic. Yo, what up, Evan?
Look, I'm your tiny diny today.
Oh yeah. Let's see. How do I fix this? That was fantastic. Yeah, it is always a ramen type of day. But I know some people like pho more. I'm more of a ramen guy.
Oh man, why would you? What sadistic person would put me in a room and force me to choose? I would choose ramen too, but I would be sad about it every day.
Yeah, well, the thing for me is, and I'm still trying to figure out how to change this. Hang on.
So what you got to do is, I do believe you got to. It always.
Hello.
Well, kind of, but now I'm just your big guy. Hey everybody, how you doing?
Nope, rugged.
So the setting is, I don't remember if you tap my face or if it's a menu. I think it actually might be a menu where you enhance your live. There's a little gear. Like one of the menus brings up more icons and one of them is a gear and one of them is like grid view or panel view. And what you want is panel view. This is grid view.
Oh, I got it. Hold on a second. No, this is panel view. This is grid view.
Let's see. I don't know what they're called. Look at that.
Oh, beautiful. Look at that.
And we're back.
I appreciate you talking me through that. And we're back with 117 people in. How's everybody doing? If you were one of the people who were in the $100 million of crypto long positions that were liquidated yesterday, you're probably not doing too great. If you had a short at the end of the day, though, you're doing wonderful. Oh,
I know that you had an Amazon short in, but you're like me. You're pretty much long on crypto for the most part, aren't you?
Yeah. I mean, like most of my positions, I mean, still it's like 50% Bitcoin. I still have Jupiter that I am unstaking though. And I think I have 2 more weeks before my Jupiter position is unstaked. And then, I see Alex here. And then I have a good sized position. It's probably like, of all the money I have in trading, it's probably like 30% is in a short position on Amazon.
What prompted you to open a short on Amazon?
Well, when I was taking a look at the S&P 500, and I'll share my screen real quick so you guys can kind of see what I'm looking at. What's up, nerds? What up, loser? So what I'm looking at, and this is the S&P 500, guys, so I know it's not a crypto, but it's important for the space. So this is the 4-hour time frame. Here's the previous all-time high. And we are rolling over, so we are seeing bullish momentum wane, and looks like we're going to do something like this. That's what it looks like it's going to happen. So if the S&P 500 is doing that, which analyze the S&P 500, analyze the NASDAQ, and that's like analyzing Bitcoin before you go and take a look at altcoins. It's the same kind of thing. So I was like, okay, cool. The S&P 500 might dip down, and at the very least, fill this gap, which I think it wants to do. If you guys don't know gaps, you want to come down and fill them with new price action, so coming down right here. Then I take a look at Amazon. I came over here to Amazon's chart. This is Amazon on the 4-hour time frame. And look, I see a lower low here, I see a lower high here, I see a lower low here, I see a lower high here. So I see a lot of weakness in the chart. And I also see another gap right here. So at the very least, I want to see us come down and close that. And then when I take a look at like what the overarching trend is, I see on the monthly time frame, the overarching trend on the stochastic RSI is down. So the trend is your friend if you're in line with it. And that is why I put a short position in on Amazon. It was largely because I saw a gap here that realistically probably wants to fill pretty soon. And that would give me, and this will be my close, my entry position was 178.07. That would give me a 4.2% gain with a short on Amazon if I want to close it there. But I'm tempted to keep it open because when you have a rejection from the 12 and 21 exponential moving averages on the weekly, you typically come down at the very least, reconnect with the 55 weekly. So that would turn my short position ideally into roughly a 7% move. So that's why I entered a short position.
Interesting. I have been pretty much out of stocks since 2020, maybe 2021, and I am not sad about it, though. I'm considering re-entering because just the way my portfolio is. It's not because I don't have confidence in crypto. It's because it's growing, and I want to diversify. My goal for moving everything into crypto was because I was mostly a lower net worth individual with high conviction, and at the time I was a single man with pretty high risk tolerance, and wanted to play where I was learning, and. Yeah. And now I feel like it makes a lot more sense for me. I mean, I had not done terribly in the stock market. I was like Alex, where before I came to crypto, I was learning about stocks and just investing different types of vehicles. And I think I'm biased in saying this, but I liked to pay attention to companies who were solving novel problems. And so I had a pretty good knack for picking this company seems like they'll do well. Like I had Microvision before they had their big blow up. I had Nvidia for years before they did anything.
Same.
And now I don't have any exposure to Nvidia. I missed most of their upside in the last 3 years. So I'd like to get back in. But I'm not paying as much attention to regular companies, so I got to do that again,
For me, because stocks have more gaps on the chart, that show up because stocks stop trading on the weekend. So you have an opportunity for there to be more gaps, and it does help you get a sense as to what direction they might go. So like I've always found that the percentage gains you get from stocks are far lower than what you get from crypto. But when I'm looking to make short positions, I almost only ever short stocks because I just have a higher degree of confidence in my shorting ability in the stock market as opposed to crypto. Because in crypto, you could get one news event dropped all of a sudden, and that coin goes up 50% in a day, and your short position's just toasted. Whereas with stocks, like that doesn't happen. You could be up 8% in a stock, the news drops, and you could go back, 20 minutes, 30 minutes after the news drops, and your short position is still up 3% instead of the 8%, and still close out in profit, right? It's just much easier and safer to manage if you're looking to short, in my personal opinion.
Excellent.
What platform, Will, do you use to do all this?
I use Fidelity. I've used Robinhood in the past on my phone. I've used, I think it's called, what was it called? It was like the Wealth app, or I forget. It starts with a W and it's blue. But I used Robinhood on my phone for a bit, and then I switched over to Fidelity entirely, which I was using at the same time. And I just got used to using Fidelity. I think Fidelity has a really good platform, honestly. Oh, Webull, that was right. Yes, Webull. Both sides are crooks, which is also true. Webull, yes, that is accurate.
I was using Robinhood. I was using Fidelity, and I actually had a 401k that was managed by, I feel like it was like Charles Schwab, and that was my introduction to trading. I never got into Webull. I had an account, but I never played with it. And then I also liked using M1 because they had a really good integration with my bank. That I switched over to them at one point in time. I don't know. I would have to get back in and see what I liked, but I would probably start with Fidelity because I've heard a lot of people that I, like and admire say they use Fidelity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was seeing the comment sections about Toncoin, and I just looked it up, and yeah. So Toncoin is back online. Outage. No new blocks produced for 3 hours at the time of this article post. Maybe it was for longer. But yeah, that's kind of crazy to me because I don't think Toncoin has nearly as many transactions on it as Solana. Transactions.
Yeah, the outage lasted 3 hours. They instructed all their validators to restart at a particular block, and they did it. I didn't see what caused it, though. I'm looking it up now. One person pinned the blame on a frenzy of hype over a newly launched dog meme coin.
Oh, man.
Yeah, interesting.
That doesn't bode well.
No. And it looked like... the ripples were pretty widely felt. Bybit suspended deposits and withdrawals. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just tried to look up their transactions on DApp Radar, but it looks like if you open up Toncoin on DApp Radar, it brings you to a 504 error page, which means that the gateway from DApp Radar to Toncoin is disconnected at the moment, which is probably a result of them kind of restarting things.
It looks like the official statement from Ton Foundation members is that the network was overloaded due to what they call garbage collection from this dog's meme token. Garbage overloaded many validators for enough time for them to lose consensus. The dog token was launched on August 27th. It's been listed on Binance, OKX. Wow, that's impressive. 1.7 in trading volume in the first 10 hours of its launch. Peak market cap of 891 million. Wow. How do we miss it, guys?
I don't know. I was too focused on shorting Amazon, I suppose. But I guess we're gonna have to go and give a minus sign to our grade our A that we gave to Ton. I
know, right? First Pavel Durov was arrested, and now the network is down. It's like
I know. Oh, it's like they're trying to rug us. That's it. Telegram and Toncoin saw our video and we're like, oh yeah, no, we can do you one better. We can hide how good we are a little bit better. And then
that's right. So if you want to see a project go in the toilet, then make sure to suggest that we research it on Thursday night because we'll be back doing after dark research on all kinds of
best grade.
Yeah. Man.
Oh well, hey, you can't see all that.
Solana though, if you're gonna do something big, you gotta break some things in 3 hours. That's not so bad. I'm willing to accept that.
No, it doesn't really concern me because all the things are still there, right? I mean, like in the early days of Ethereum, we had Ethereum go down. Solana has fixed by quite a bit their downage issues as well. And this is the first instance that we've seen with Toncoin, at least to my knowledge. Maybe there have been other ones. Maybe Toncoin was just smaller at the time and no one was really paying attention. But, there's plenty of time for them to fix it. The structure of what makes Toncoin attractive as an investment, if Bitcoin goes up, is still there, which is its connection to the number one used app in the space, Telegram, and getting a funnel of people on chain to drive liquidity, revenue, all that kind of stuff to make Toncoin go up in value. So all that's still there. there being a disruption in the chain, definitely something to keep an eye on. But it's not the end of the world in my personal opinion in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing about what makes it valuable at its core has changed for me. If a network goes down because people are using it, I would say that's generally a good sign, especially if they're responsive to it.
Yeah. What is this? What is DESO? Because I vaguely remember it, but I don't remember
It's
it.
DESO. It refers to one of the earlier decentralized social sites that was powered by a token. You could buy and sell and collect your friends' tokens, and they had a platform token. I don't know. I don't personally know the founder, and I don't know what activity they've been involved in. But it just was like I don't know. It made Facebook into a Ponzi basically, and people liked it who got in early because they could make money, or they could speculate on it, which is cool. But I don't know. It just felt off to me.
The classic crypto. There's this thing that exists, but what if it was a Ponzi?
But what if it was a Ponzi?
Do you think the people would like it? Oh, they're gonna love it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna eat it up. Yum, 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 yum. It's gonna be great. 4 people.
Yeah, and it was like, do you remember Friends with Benefits? There was a DAO called Friends with Benefits, and they had a token. I feel like the DESO token and the Friends with Benefits token are similar in that it was like a novel concept for its time. There was a token on it, and people got excited about it. And both of the tokens, even though the platforms are largely gone, because they're kind of like ICP in the speculative sense. I know Nick's watching. At one time, they had a lot of hype and value on the chart. And so almost more than anything, what brings people back to the chart is they're a bag holder or they heard about it from the bag holders kind of thing, is the impression I get from DESO. I haven't used DESO. I don't think a lot of people use DESO anymore. They're mostly on, Warpcast or Lens or other stuff.
Actually, on that topic, have you checked out the numbers of Warpcast to see how they're growing or anything like that? Obviously, and if you guys don't know, Warpcast is a decentralized social media platform that we're all on because it's a much smaller Twitter that's full of people in the crypto space. So it's nice to build your brand, reach out to people, make connections. If you're trying to get involved in the crypto space, potentially even without putting your money into investments, right? You can get on Warpcast into Farcaster and start posting, interacting with people, building a brand for yourself, making connections, building your network, all that stuff. Really useful for all that. And I'm curious to see what the numbers are. I expect the numbers are lower.
So I found a chart the other day, and I was just Googling it when you said that. But what I can confirm for you and do remember is that it peaked in February. Usage of Warpcast and the Farcaster protocol, which Warpcast is based on top of, peaked in February in terms of daily active users, number of posts, mints, everything. And since then, it was kind of like a to the top. I think probably fueled by tipping tokens like DGen. And then it's kind of trickled off since then. I don't have an exact figure and I'm looking it up. I think activity is sort of maintaining though, is the sense I get. We're in a trough.
Yep. Morning, Rick. Nice to see you, dude.
Rick.
But yeah, that makes sense because we've just been sliding since March, April, which has been brutal. And TVL, the DeFi activities going down, the views on videos is going down. People, I'm starting to see, people mentioning I think yesterday I had a comment where someone's like, "Hey, dude, how do you pay attention to the market every single day like this?" And I was like, "Well, this is my crack cocaine, and I am an addict, so it's easy for me." But a lot of people are just getting tired and exhausted, so people are disengaging more and more and more. And that's
they're feeling yo-yoed because they'll tune in a week ago, and people will be talking about, "Oh, the market is back, the market is up." People use phrases like bull run. I have really hesitated, you've heard me say this, to use the phrase bull run this whole time because it's so back and forth. And I don't know, I just feel like there's such a yo-yo for people that they're almost like, is the bull run in the room with us? And what I worry about is that it's just not helpful. I feel like people this time who are newer have this impression that suddenly everything is going to just explode and it's going to be up only for months, and that some one thing which somebody can predict and point to before it happens will cause it. And I just don't think that's a good way to set yourself up as an investor.
No,
you know,
not.
So not that I'm accusing you or you of doing it. I don't think you guys do it at all. Do that. But it just like, if you're in the audience watching and you're like, is this the bull run? Why is it up? Why is it down? I thought we were going up. Someone said we were going up. Absolutely no one knows that. It's not helpful to look for that kind of information. You got to build conviction in what's going on here in order to figure out, do you believe in the long term, the short term, whatever, that a thing is going to happen? Once you get conviction, then you can move with more confidence.
Hold on a second. Our live has just been restricted for discussing drugs or other regulated substances. Oh no, it was my joke.
What'd you do? Well, I missed it.
It was the addict joke I made.
I thought maybe they banned us for deadly weapons because we got this gun show going on. Yeah, man. Alex, tell me you're wearing something without sleeves today.
Here we go. Tell me you're wearing something without sleeves.
Operating a motor vehicle, so we're just winning on all fronts today.
Yeah.
Nick Johnson, I will not be doing that. But we'll see. Yeah, I know. But Alex, if you do come on screen, just if you pull over, just rip whatever sleeves you have off, and just let those guns come out and play, baby.
Yeah.
No,
if you got a rodent problem, welcome to the
minutes.
Rise Up Morning Show. Feed him to our pythons.
Yeah.
Actually,
anyway,
I'm
sorry.
I'm done. Never mind.
I'm distracted now by our muscles and TikTok being mad at us. What were we just talking about?
I think we were talking about cryptocurrency and why it's helpful. You got to build conviction. Don't fret too much about whether the market is up or down.
Yeah.
And if you are fretting, you might be overexposed.
Yeah. Well, so I've been saying, I became, and I kept saying this, cautiously optimistic over the past week when we had that big breakout. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 days ago now. It's cautiously optimistic. But guys, remember, the overall global economy is really shaky, not in a good position. Bitcoin is very much so a part of the global economy, particularly now with the ETFs. It's even more in tuned with what's happening with the stock market, with the NASDAQ, with global geopolitical movements. It always was, but even more so now because of the ETFs being plugged in, which just connects it more so to the traditional financial world. So you got to be paying attention. And when people are saying bull run, bull run, bull run, bull run, bull run, bull run, take a step back and be like, I've heard we're entering a recession. Let me take a look into that real quick and see if I believe that or not, and then start to figure out what I may want to do with my investment money. Right? That's a good step, which is another degree of difficulty, but it is something that is necessary if you're going to become a trader and investor. I feel like as a part of your journey, right? It took me a while to get to that point. When I first got into crypto, it was just bull run, number go up, silly dog coin, right? That was it. That's how I started back in 2017. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you talk about a split in ETF? Our friend Khalil wants to know. Hey, Khalil.
A split in the ETFs?
I'm not entirely sure what he meant by that. I was thinking you would know. That's fine.
I'm not entirely sure either. Yeah.
Let us know what you mean, Khalil. Maybe he's talking about inflows and outflows. And I think generally maybe it'd be good for us to, if people are interested, in the why, it's always good to talk about what happened and why. And I can't really tell, aside from people who hold the ETF wondering if they made the wrong decision, what really contributed to any kind of price activity yesterday with regard to Bitcoin. I saw Doug was in the audience. I'm sure he was watching it. I know you were watching it. But do you guys have any insight in terms of what specifically the catalyst for yesterday's downward activity was? I didn't catch it really, truly.
Well, the thing is the timing was interesting. And I say the timing was interesting because, let's see, if I pull up the chart, this all happened at roughly 2100 UTC time, which is, for all of us, to Eastern Standard Time. That's about 5 p.m. It all started at about 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time was the first big drop. And then from 5 to 6, so from 5 to 7 o'clock last night is when the big drop was, which is interesting because that's after operating hours for the ETFs. And the ETFs sold about $100 to $120 million across the ETFs. It was outflows, but that would have been happening during trading hours, right? And so the selling afterwards would have been aftermarket selling, which is it's just interesting that that's how that worked, because that means that it wasn't the ETF products that sold. That means that it was a handful of people, some kind of event happened, somebody fat finger sold, somebody had some kind of deal, somebody had to make a move in a big way. And it would have had to have been most likely one or a handful of whales that then decided to sell and created that long liquidation position. What they probably saw is because so many people were getting bullish in crypto, a lot of people were putting in longs. And when whales see a lot of longs or they see a lot of shorts, they see a really easy way to destroy those positions and get a quick payday. They saw all those longs and said, oh, I know what I'll do. We're going to sell a little bit, cause these longs to get liquidated after we put in a short, make a ton of money, close our short, and destroy those long positions. Now those longs have been annihilated. You're probably going to have a growth in short positions. Yeah, leverage liquidity flush out. Exactly. That's exactly right. We do recover. And now the positions that are open now are the short positions. So now the game is, cool, let's go and crush these short positions now, or let the short positions grow before crushing them and liquidating things up that way. That's how the game gets played. You know, it's by the whales. You know, they have their positions and then they push the market in the way they want to go based on where they can get the most liquidations and get the most profit off of their longs and shorts. So that is why there were $100 million in liquidations in 70 minutes of trading in the crypto space. Yeah. It's nuts. It was nuts.
Well, have you ever seen the animation? It's a visualization of people's long and short positions, and it's represented by soldiers on a battlefield. And small positions are like soldiers with guns, and big positions are like tanks. And as they get liquidated, like this, look at that floppy.
That was great. I loved that.
Isn't that a great gift? I gave that gift for the first time to someone the other day, and I gave it to Tech CEO because I knew he'd have a great reaction to it. I loved it. It was awesome.
Thanks, Doug.
I don't remember what the visual is called, but it made me think of Doug's cool block visualizer, and it's just people getting liquidated as if it's a battlefield, and it's really fun. Alex,
I
welcome
have
home.
not seen that, no. But that would be a good time. It would satisfy my Warhammer 40K desire for like the grim dark future.
Let me see. How was the vet?
You know, it's a bet.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Come on, man, give me something. This is edutainment.
Edutainment.
This is edutainment. Speaking of edutainment, Chaos is in the comments, and I wanted to ask you guys if you had seen. He just made a comment about we need Rise Up Morning Show Pokemon cards. Obviously, we do. We were talking the other day about how cool it would be to have like an in real life event where a component of it could be collectible cards for the speakers. But why do we have to wait for IRL? I think it would be so cool to do I don't know, a little limited edition run of Evan, Alex, and Will cards, and maybe I don't know, a Rise Up card, and we could attach NFTs too. But wouldn't that be cool? I think Chaos has got a hookup because I saw a video that he had sent some cards to John Whalen that looked like awesome, cool custom jobs. If you haven't seen it, I think it's on John's profile. But it was quality.
I love that idea. And actually, I do have one custom Pokemon card because my girlfriend made it for us for our anniversary.
I know. I love that.
There I am with a Squirtle, and there she is with an Espeon who her Pokemon is. And, you know, our HP is infinity because that's our love. Aww. And then it says, I choose you. It's great. But yeah.
Man.
I know that you can, even just through the smart wallet, it takes like, I tried it yesterday just to see how it works. You can set up a mint and set the cost at whatever you want for, you know, however long of a time you want with a either unlimited or specific, you know, number of mints of something. it took 30 seconds to do it. So could totally get like, the image of the card and just open a free mint from everyone's smart wallet and just run it and keep score.
Yeah, we obviously got to keep score. And the winner is the Grand Poobah for the month or whatever.
The Grand Poobah.
The Grand Poobah.
That'd be a title that I'd want. We should get Kaio. Kaio! Make these cards! Help us!
Yeah, dude. I am already thinking about what what my art would be, what my moveset would be. I don't know. I'm writing that down. Show Pokemon card. That's the thing. Alex,
Yeah.
while you were driving, did you hear anything that perked your ears? Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Just I guess from the top, I do a little bit of stock stuff, so I was curious to hear about Will's Amazon short and all that good stuff. Everything that I do stock related is through Schwab, through my IRA, which is mostly also it's about as exciting as my crypto portfolio. It's like 95% an S&P 500 index fund. But
Woo!
I mean, which is doing great the last year or so. And then other than that, I had the Bitcoin Trust, the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. I had that for years. And so that's all converted over now into Grayscale's Bitcoin ETF, which is also doing all right. Other than that, I don't really do any individual stock stuff. I don't pay enough attention to it to, do any of that kind of stuff. I had like a bunch of small positions in a bunch of companies that I just liked, that I wanted to either be allowed to like vote in or just, I guess, participate in because I liked the company.
Sure.
I got rid of most of those because they were like, either some of them just, tanked and cratered, or some of them were just like all-time highs. And I was like, this should all just be in the S&P. Like, I don't pay close enough attention. So I just rolled everything into that. And that turned out to be a great decision. Other than that, I haven't done stocks. I used to do Robinhood, back in the day, but I don't mess with stocks at all anymore. And like I said, I spend all of my time doing research, not into specific crypto projects, which is how I was able to go and not have any idea that ton went down. But everything just goes into, fundamental reasons for this shit to exist or why it shouldn't exist. And then obviously yesterday we were doing I spent most of the day with my dear friend ChatGPT, which, holy shit, by the way, like,
My dear friend.
if you're not messing with the like custom GPTs, you should go poke around in there. Cause I was like trying to get a bunch of, data to support some claims and some theories that I have about marketing tactics. And I found this like custom built one that was exclusively made for market research.
And are these in the paid version of GPT? Like in the extensions or whatever?
I think there are free ones that you can use, but yeah, I mean, I pay for 4.0, so these are all like through a part of that. But
Yeah, but it's the OpenAI website where you found them.
yeah, it's just through like ChatGPT homepage. You open it up, and where you can start a new one. There's just a ChatGPT, DALL-E, and then Explore GPTs, and then there's a huge menu of all of the ones that exist in there.
Yeah, Alex sent us a message that had some of the most helpful, specific niche results that I have seen from a GPT in a long time, and then basically sent us that his prompt was, what did you? He said my GPTs just get me, and I was quite impressed.
I mean, to be fair, my initial setup prompts are usually like huge. And, I spend a lot of time on them. And then after that, the whole thing gets easy. You set it up for success from the beginning. And then the whole thing just gets easy. But I mean, that's the biggest crypto research hack there is. Just like train a GPT thread to help you by explaining to it, the way that you like to invest, or the things that you care about, or your concerns, or the things that you don't like, or whatever. And and then just ask it to overview things for you. And you can design the format, like if it's like, hey, I don't want you to write me a 30-page, essay about it. I want you to give me 50, no more than like 50 lines of text. Give it to me in bullet point form. Give me a pros, a cons, an overview, and like an interesting tidbit section, whatever it is. You do that as your step one for every single one of these things. And then you can go fact check stuff because it does make mistakes every now and then. I saw a hilarious conversation where the guy who was talking about arguing with ChatGPT about how many R's are in strawberry. Did you see that video?
No.
It was like, how many R's are in the word strawberry? And it's just like 2. And then he argued with it for like a long time. Yeah. And it was just constantly like doubling down. Like, no, it's 2. And he was like pointing out and like forcing it to spell it letter by letter. And then it would just get to the end and it would be like, Doug saw it. And he'd be like, okay, it's 2. And then just arbitrarily out of what seemed like nowhere, he just kept going. And finally ChatGPT was like, oh, look at that. You're right. There are 3. So you got to be careful. But
he took the time to retrain the model for all of us, for all of our strawberry-related queries.
Yeah, no, he fixed it for everyone. But anyway, I don't remember where I was going with that, but the point is that you can use that to your advantage if you are researching a new crypto or even just trying to like keep something updated, because you can keep a thread running that's sort of like, especially now with the new ones because they're connected to the internet finally. So you can actually like query live data. But so for this, essentially all I did was like, I wrote a theory and I was like, hey, I have a theory and I want to know if this is supported by any data that exists or if it's proven wrong by any data that exists. And I wrote out like my thesis on marketing. And then it sent me a whole bunch of data that I could go look up and verify that indicated that I was on the right track. And so it was very helpful.
How well cited in terms of, I'm not sure what that person is asking in terms of like extensive though, because each one was like tied to a very specific study. But I didn't have a sense of on that particular question how like broad or deep what databases it was searching were, if that makes sense. It seemed like a good mix of academic journals and like news publications that were legitimate and trustworthy. I would be really curious to know if you could query it and ask it like, what's your database like? What are these research sources? Is it like a JSON library? Is it a like a college graduate catalog? I don't know. I thought that was I was impressed though. But that would be my next question too.
We'll see what it says. But yeah, it's getting better. It used to be atrocious at anything that required a citation, to where I would say you straight up just can't use it for this. Gemini does a pretty decent job, although it's going to be limited to the way that like Google would search for stuff. It's a little bit, you have to be really careful with that one because it'll just give you confirmation bias a lot. So you have to make sure you write your prompt with enough ambiguity to where it will give you conflicting data if something doesn't support you. Like I have to specifically say like, I would also like this to be proven wrong or something like that. So, tell me if there's blah, blah, blah. Because GPTs, all of these things, they want a good user experience, which means they want to make the prompter happy, which means they're more inclined to agree with you, so that you keep talking to it. So you have to be very specific. Like they will disagree, but you have to specifically ask it for that.
We had a really good comment a little while ago about IRAs, and I just wanted to say that I don't have an IRA that I actively contribute to because I don't have a W-2 paycheck, and I find it difficult to budget for one more thing and one more thing and one more thing. But you can invest in crypto through IRAs. Do either of you have a crypto IRA by any chance?
No.
Will, do you? Okay. If you're not an IRA person and you have a W-2, I think a lot of people don't use IRAs because they don't understand them, and they can be, if you're new, maybe a little intimidating. But that would be, if you're interested, you have a W-2 job and you want to buy crypto, but you don't want to learn the complexities of crypto. You've been thinking about the Bitcoin ETF. Another option might be to explore crypto IRAs. And that'd be what I'd take to ChatGPT if that's you and ask it about. And just generally, if you don't know about IRAs and you have a W-2 regular paycheck job, and you're looking for more ways to start investing, that can be a great way to get started because there are a lot of tax benefits that most people just kind of leave on the table when they're letting their money sit.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest benefits of the spot ETF is you can trade within the confines of a Roth IRA, and guess what? Guess who doesn't have to pay capital gains tax? People who trade stuff within a Roth IRA. So, pro tip. That's why I have the spot Bitcoin ETF, because I can trade in and out of it and defer and avoid taxes because obviously that's how a Roth works. Money's pre-taxed.
Alex asked how non-true Web3 crypto bro of you. Not your keys, not your wallet, not your crypto.
Right? Do you even Bitcoin, man?
Do you even Bitcoin?
I do have a lot more actual
sleeves
Bitcoin.
And your spot ETF.
I maintain this is a hill that I will comfortably die on. The problem is not the fact that middle people exist. The problem is the fact that we've not had a choice until now. So like I have no issue with paying someone for the convenience of their middle people service, as long as there's a choice I get to make to pay for that service and like opt into that convenience.
I respect that. Because convenience is nice.
It is. It's very nice.
It is nice. Yeah. Also,
Did
somebody
you see-
asked if I had any expectations for NVIDIA's earnings call today. If any of you don't know, NVIDIA's earnings call is at 5 p.m. today after hours. I have no idea what to expect from it. No clue. I really don't. But what comes out of it should be very, very important. It's been very, very important for us in the crypto space too, because if NVIDIA crushes their earnings, like they have been, it's going to be a sign that I'm going to do air quotes around this, the AI bubble still isn't popping yet. And it's going to be a sign of confidence to risk on assets, which lends itself to crypto, but it's also going to be a sign that, hey, markets could still go up. And it's the end times aren't here yet. So that's what it's a sign of, and it can restore investor confidence. So that's why we're keeping our eyes on NVIDIA as a crypto channel. This earnings call will be important.
So I was reading an interesting opinion op-ed just about the AI bubble, so to speak, and how it would be. It was an interesting opinion because, of course, I've kind of been of the mind that, like, this thing is doomed to pop at some point. But basically, this opinion was like, okay, if you really think about it, what have we seen manifest in reality from the AI tech space lately that would indicate to us that we are now at bubble popping territory? And they wrote out this big kind of analysis of the fact that, like, there's all of these things that are on the horizon for AI, and how in reality we have like some pretty decent LLMs, and that's it. And there's a little bit of examples of it being used here or there. The vast majority of it is sort of gimmicky, and that we've not even scratched the surface of like the potential of this tech to do XYZ in XYZ industries. And they had more like examples. I'll try to see if I can dig it up. It was one of those annoying things that I stumbled upon a link to it on Twitter and then lost it forever. But basically the point was just that, like, we've barely gotten started. It makes no sense for this bubble to pop this early. Like, is it a bubble? Probably. Will it pop at some point? Probably. But like, right now it would be way more likely that if something popped, it would be stupid AI cryptos that make no sense. But like AI as it exists, especially through, large companies like NVIDIA, that it probably doesn't make that much sense that it's just going to like end arbitrarily right now before anything serious even hits the markets. I mean, consumer products that involve AI are almost exclusively hokey right now, with the exception of, the beginnings of advanced LLMs. But other than that, there's not a ton of stuff out there.
No, I do think we're starting to get some cool ones though. And isn't it wild that just a year ago we were marveling at GPT? Yep. You remember when the show first started and we were doing that segment, Artificial Insanity? Well, before you came on the show, we had a segment where we would ask AI to do fun tasks and do little competitions with each other. And it was, I mean, rudimentary, but it was wild. And it was unprecedented. So it amazes me how quickly the rate of innovation and the rate of change continues to accelerate, which leads me to believe, it has never slowed down, and it probably won't. That we're on the cusp of something pretty good. We're getting some great apps out of it now, and I think that will continue. I think the bubble will continue to grow substantively.
Yeah, it just takes time. But also, like, what I was looking at is, I'm like, cool, a lot of people are like, this AI bubble is going to pop. I'm just like, maybe, but the thing is like the fundamentals of like what's creating this AI bubble are really strong. And I Googled Amazon as an example. Amazon invested $4 billion in buying Anthropic, a San Francisco-based generative AI startup, back in March. They're putting $100 billion in cloud computing and AI infrastructure over the next decade. They invested £700 million in robotics in AI in their European fulfillment centers. And this is all like this year, and this is just Amazon. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars being set aside for AI from now through the next decade across all of the major companies, because they have to in order to remain competitive. So like, is it a bubble if the foundational strength of investment is strong and set for the next decade? And since markets are forward-looking, eventually it'll get overvalued. But is that now? I don't know, because more and more companies are continuing to invest more. So like that part is still healthy. And who's going to benefit the most from that? NVIDIA, probably, and Intel.
It just seems a little bit jumpy to say that, like it's all going to come, not to say that it can't. But it seems to be a byproduct of our shitty attention spans, that we're like, it's been 20 minutes, it's time for the bubble to pop and everything to crash and crater and burn to the ground. It's like, all right, settle down.
I also think that we're going to run up against the limits of our hardware soon. We really need better hardware. The capacity for compute, the capacity for processing, like we're almost there. And it's getting better all the time, but I really think that that's a severe limiter to how innovative some of this stuff can be. It's the reason we don't have, a better metaverse experience. Facebook, I think, is phasing out their whatever headset that they, tried to sell us. Google Glasses, that didn't work either. I am waiting for devices to integrate mixed reality in a meaningful way for everyday people. And I think a big limit is processing power, because it takes just a tremendous amount of battery, computing, whatever, and chips.
I wonder, that just sort of makes a little bit better case for a decentralized option to spread load over, 20 million devices.
Okay, so that brings us to it. We have a lot of questions in the chat, and I would love to rapid fire some of them with you. And though I could start with something more substantive, Will, we're at your place today. Feel free to kick me the hell off. But I want to start with this question, which is, do you think men will start to choose robotic females as mates over natural-born females in 20 years? And I don't know about you, brothers. I am a lot less worried about what men will choose and feeling like I might be obsoleted by a machine. Personally, I think women have a lot more options when it comes to what robots can replace in their male partners, frankly.
There's definitely going to be a problem for some people.
I can think of about 12 off the top of my head.
I mean, as long as the ability of men to not be shitheads continues to drop precipitously, then yes, the danger of that in either direction becomes more and more likely.
And of course, folks want to know if the earnings call goes well, or if AI the sector continues to grow, what crypto tokens could benefit, or what kind of crypto, I would add, what kind of crypto solutions could benefit from the growth of AI?
Yeah, I mean, you have your renders, right? Everything in that AI field, even if it's not really particularly valuable, will go up. As we just said, compute is a big restricting factor, a big bottleneck for the development of AI. So like something like a render is genuinely helpful for the world in being able to provide and leverage decentralized compute capability for people who want to run AI models and stuff like that. So something like a render is in a great position to benefit. But if NVIDIA's earnings call come out at the end of the day, and it's all, look at that thick boy.
She's a lady, Will.
Look at that thick lady. He's there. But if NVIDIA's earnings calls come out and it's really, really good today, I'm sure you see AI-related coins do better than most in the crypto space. But the thing is like it'll be an overarching passive of ease and good vibes to investors who will feel good, kind of like this lady here getting her head scratchies and pats in her ear. Alex is a good NVIDIA earnings call. The dog is the global pool of investors. And that's exactly what will happen right there, guys. That's it. But yeah, I mean, a good earnings call for NVIDIA is good for the whole market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But AI coins should pop off pretty nicely, hopefully.
Yeah, and in terms of AI being like, I think Al Pitt said the greatest invention since electricity. I am always curious what people think are the greatest inventions. I'm inclined to think language might be number one. I think it is number two. I would lump it as the internet, and I don't know if I would say that AI is definitely in the top. But what constitutes AI, and where do AI and the internet overlap? So many of these things overlap in so many ways, and stand on each other's shoulders. I think crypto should be in that conversation. Blockchains that make it possible to tokenize stuff, for sure. Especially because, like you were saying, Alex, just a second ago, the decentralized sort of foundation, the values, the open source nature that cannot be co-opted, that is not in the hands of any one billionaire or company to distribute. That's pretty remarkably innovative. We'll definitely change the world if we don't mess it up.
That's why DePIN as a narrative is interesting. And to your point, Evan, about hardware, I think we've just barely started to scratch the surface of blockchain integrated hardware. And it's been a little bit hokey at first, like if we have the Solana, the Saga phone, undeniably, that's a bit of a gimmick. Like, is it cool? It's super fucking cool that it's been started. Now that device specifically could be, a little bit hokey, which is fine. We got to start somewhere. Look at AI integrated hardware devices, right? Like those little silly, like the Claude or the, what is it? The EO or the Rabbit something, like these little different little square, you remember what they're called? I know.
No.
There's been a few, Marquez Brownlee did a few really good videos going over a few of these different things, these different like AI devices, and kind of just how mediocre they were at best. But you got to start somewhere, right? So it kind of makes sense that beginning hardware devices would be a little bit hokey. But as far as DePIN goes, it's right there in the name. We're talking about physical infrastructure. And if you think about where did this kind of stuff start, and we go back to mining helium, mining HNT last time by selling these miners. We know, Mac has been involved with Aether and those miners. Now that one has been interesting because you've got the mining devices itself, which can mine not just AIT, but a whole bunch of other stuff, so theoretically more networks could host on those existing devices. And then, we can spread these nodes out all over the place and they can be used for all sorts of things. That would be cool. I expect we'll see more stuff like that come out. Right now, I think they're way too expensive. So we've got to come up with some options that people can get, some kind of small, either minor node or small processor kind of thing that they can be involved in the network for significantly less. I mean, the Aether nodes are like what, $900. So,
and Alex, my big criticism, and you know this, is we've got to make better incentive models where the product is not just a means to acquire the token or skip it altogether and go straight to a token. Most of these, someone asked about DeSci, DPIN, DeSci, decentralized AI. There are real use cases for the distribution of ownership and also using crypto native, digitally native tokenized assets, not just money, but pieces of information to control, to interact with these machines and through these machines, each other, whether we're validating a scientific process or the origin of the lettuce at your grocery store. Blockchain is a great use case for that. But most of the models from most of the companies we're seeing right now are designed to sell a token in order to create revenue for a founding team or exit liquidity for venture capitalists and early investors. That's it.
Yeah. But I mean, just and I don't mean to say that like these are it, like the devices that exist now are going to be the things that carry us forward and define this revolution, of physicality with regards to decentralization. I just mean that we've got to start somewhere. And I think starting with some kind of hokey devices that do a gimmick is like still a good way to get someone used to the idea that, this is a thing that hardware can help us with. Because we're already starting to see adaptations between, like where the Saga comes out as a whole standalone device versus what a phone is doing with a new operating system that you can put onto any Android device, being sort of like, okay, we went a little bit farther forward with this Saga. Ultimately, the only reason that the Saga probably was any kind of successful is because of the meme coin casino making it worth it for these people to order these things. But taking a step back, a phone, here's an operating system. You don't need to buy a new device. It's a thing that you can download and connect to our cloud to participate in some of this computational whatever. Is it also gimmicky? Maybe. I don't know that much about it. But just to say like that was a decent step back in that whole kind of thing to then see, okay, let's take this a little bit slower. But I'm personally extremely excited to see more consumer focused products come out in this area. That's been one thing that's been missing from crypto for so long. I mean, why isn't there a blockchain enabled Game Boy equivalent? Like something like that could totally be a thing that I could envision being a thing with, the ability to.
On that topic, as a part of On-Chain Summer, I went in and played that game where you like bounce the ball up and it like knocks out like the blocks, like very old school game. Yeah. And On-Chain, and I was just there, and it was like 20 minutes went by, and I was like, I work. I gotta go back to work. I was just like zoned in. It was just like a nice, pleasant gaming experience. It was nice to have.
Where is that?
I've minted it, so I can go to my wallet and send you the address.
One of the days for crypto the game this season was a bricks game, and the people who got the highest score and the team that had the highest score won immunity that day. And I think it was called Block Breaker was the version that we had. They also had a worm game one day.
Ooh, worm! That one's my favorite. But yeah, if you go into the Coinbase app and you go under Play, I think you should be able to find it. If you go under the Summer Pass, I mean. Yeah, there's some games and interactive things in there, which was fun. It was nice. But I had this idea just pop into my head, and I can't believe it never popped into my head before. But if we could have, pick a DeFi protocol. If we could have a DeFi protocol, whatever it is, let's say it's a decentralized exchange. You have your token today that is used for it, but what if instead of, and it doesn't have to be decentralized exchange, it could be a consumer app. What if you just had an NFT that said, hey, you're like an active member of here, and the NFT was priced in USDC, so a non-speculative asset, but behind it, you still paid, Ether for the gas fee or whatever. So that's the revenue for the protocol. And then that NFT, which is just a record of your ownership of the ability to access this thing, then gives you access to this thing that provides you a benefit, like a lending protocol. You can take your NFT and get a lending protocol for it because it's worth, a certain amount of Ether or whatever behind the scenes, as opposed to having all these platforms tied to a coin whose value is volatile. then getting us into a position. I'm not sure where the pitfalls are of this. It's just the idea crossed my mind. Because then you get yourself into a position where it's like, oh, cool. Like now people will actually use the platform because it's genuinely useful, not because the coin was speculated for about 2 months and now that the price is going down, no one's using it, right?
Yeah.
You know,
that's why we
NFTs are
advocate
just
for multiple
digital
tokens.
records of ownership. You know, like
you could have multiple tokens, and you might want multiple tokens. Like if you have a record of ownership token like that grants you access to the network, verifies your identity, gets you in the door. You're a level 1 member, level 2 member, whatever, grows with you over time. Especially if it's like a folder that can hold other tokens, then why wouldn't we have a token for the most active member of the day? Like what if we had a fungible token that was super deflationary, and doing things on the platform earned you this token, like Chuck E. Cheese tokens. And then the person, we take a snapshot, who got the most of them in the last 24 hours gets a new NFT. You are the most valuable person today. And maybe there are things you can spend your fungible token on, but they're deflating all the time. Maybe you spend them on votes so that a guy who founded the company today won't be able to run it 10 years from now. But they'll also have an NFT that showed they founded the company. I think we're going to see a lot more of that in the future of companies that succeed in blockchain. Many different tokens for many different purposes, but simplified.
Yeah, I think that as more and more time gets away from the NFT craze and kind of the bad rep that NFTs got in that 2020, 2021 bull run, the more and more likely we'll see more NFT things pop up in like the solutions and the decentralized applications. And we do have that a little bit. I mean, even in Aerodrome, you stake and you get that like V Aero, like NFT. Like there have been more projects that popped up in the past year that involve like NFTs as like signs of ownership or signs that you staked and it's like valuable and has uses in applications. So I'm curious to see how that continues to develop. But I don't think we're going to get that until we get to a bear market and people stop putting out a whole bunch of crap just to speculate off of people. And it's not going to be until we get into a bear market where people just start building like, okay, what's the next thing? How do we actually make this better, as opposed to me just trying the fastest I possibly can to copycat one successful project and get that out in the space to grift people.
Yes.
So it'll take time.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to sneeze.
No, wait.
Excuse me.
Funny, I'm also feeling a sneeze.
Are you really?
I think it's passing.
I might have to take my shirt off, you guys. I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to like do this to your stream, but it is hot as in here. It is so
It's
hot.
okay. I mean, we already violated guidelines a while ago, so the stream's suppressed, so it's fine.
There are some people who give me the comment that they don't take me seriously. I'll try just to show more of my stuff, unless my shirt is off. But I'm so sorry. It's really hot here today, and I can't turn the air conditioner on without just making it sound like I'm in a wind tunnel. So I've got to suffer a little longer.
Nice. Now what you should do is you just get like ice cubes. It's like, just like, sorry guys, it's really hot here. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm trying to be modest about it, but this is, it's morning somewhere and it's summer somewhere, summer in Memphis. So it's on-chain summer, people. We're hot here.
You know what's funny though, Evan, is I'm sure you run into this, Will, in your part of the country, probably not so much, but like the other day we were outside and it was 85 and we were all like, oh, it's a little chilly today. And it's weird. It's weird living in a place where I comfortably say that and truly mean it, because, it was 110 not that long ago. I remember I was in college, and I went to college at the University of Connecticut, and I had to fly down to Raleigh, North Carolina for round 2 or round 3 of an interview for the job I ended up taking out of college. It was blizzarding. I flew out of the airport in Hartford, I believe, or near Hartford. It's blizzarding. I land, and it is 72. It's about it's about 68 degrees, maybe 65. So I'm taking off my winter clothes. I'm melting, and then I was walking around Raleigh, and people are wearing the clothes that I was wearing in a blizzard in Connecticut. Meanwhile, I'm sweating my ass off now in Raleigh, not used to it. And people wearing their winter hats and their mittens and stuff and their jackets. My favorite though is going to Miami, because as soon as it hits 70 degrees, the Miamians, they just bring out all of their like New York fashion. And they have like their Timbs and their like pea coats and their hats and their gloves. And it's like 68, 69 degrees. And they're like genuinely freezing like the iguanas
And I'm just like, this is hilarious. But
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
it's very different because if you put me in 85 degrees weather, my girlfriend's great, but I'm just looking at her like just a puddle, just dying. I'm just like, I'm from Maine and I'm hairy and I'm hot.
Dude, the
Now it's
second it dips below 80, you will literally see winter jackets at the grocery store.
Yeah, no, it's batshit crazy.
I love this comment that says TikTok doesn't have a short filter, and honestly, at this point, I'm kind of like, why don't they? Maybe they do.
Yeah,
See if I can filter my way into a shirt.
You.
I bet I might be able to do this. Hang on a second.
Ooh,
Oh no, I turned myself into a mountain goat. Have you guys seen this?
I think I've seen Mac as that at one point, maybe.
Yeah, Mac was definitely
What?
stuck as a koala bear for a while.
He was.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first time I ever met him.
Yes.
That sounds
Was when he
that sounds
came in as a koala?
Yeah, and he was just like the koala for a while.
I don't know if they have any that are just not abjectly silly.
It'd be nice if there was one that just like gave you like a Greek god body, just like.
Yeah, I don't know. This is kind of cool. I look like I'm on the beach at least. Anyway, don't mind me. Don't mind me. I'll see what I can't find.
Anyway,
Well,
to finish the whole deep in thought, that's a narrative that I'm excited about, but I don't. It's not one that like buying a bunch of random crypto makes me excited about. Like that's kind of the part where you lose me a little bit. There's always an issue with narratives as far as I can see. So I'm curious if you guys have seen anything in and around the idea of DePIN that's not just like, hey, buy this token on Binance instead, and now you're buying DePIN, and it's like, it feels like I'm buying the same dumb shit that I'm always buying.
it's like an episode of Interdimensional Cable from Rick and Morty. It's like, hey guys, now we have our DePIN. It's the greatest project, but buy this token because the token is wonderful and it'll go up, and you can use it to get a DePIN. DePIN's good, guys. Look at us go.
Yeah, I am struggling to think of a particular specific project, but as much as it pains me to say it, I think Helium would be my example. I think Helium has made some changes to the model since it kind of had like a turn for the worse that have made it a pretty cool network.
Haven't even looked into that in ages. I'd have to.
Another vibe.
We should put that. We can put that on for tomorrow's thing and give it a refresh.
Yeah, and I'll schedule it also after we're done here. But yeah, because Helium's been like doing a bunch of stuff, and they made a lot of changes, and I just haven't kept up to date on it because it's hard to keep up to date on it.
Well, it seems like they moved from a model where people are only doing it to earn money from the tokens to a model where people are actually passionate about participating in the network. To grow a network that is secured by its users. And, Sleeps is in the comments talking about people, decentralization, people don't really want it. People don't want to do that. People want easy, people want Coinbase, and they do. But
Yes.
I think there are some people, especially early adopters, who want to participate in that kind of thing. The other example I would say is, this is sort of a blend, but I feel like the Cabin DAO is a really good example of when a network is distributed in many places, how people in the network who have aligned values or who have geographical proximity and aligned values can collaborate to share resources in an effective, mutually incentivized way. They build resources that they share. I would also say that verbs may be a good example of that. Like DAOs generally are if they do it well, are a deep in. They're not always super physical, but I would consider it like monetary infrastructure physical, or a lot of it in our lives has been. Maybe that's why I think of it that way. No.
I want you guys to finish your thoughts because I do have another topic I want to bring up, but I want to make sure your guys' thoughts are finished on this.
That's mostly I'm going to look at deep in projects because I feel like I'm missing something, but that's my thought.
Yeah,
So,
I'm pretty well met on it. Well,
Okay.
all I was gonna say was just to caution people, because I'm starting to see videos come out just about like DePIN as a narrative as the next exciting thing. And I just wanted to make sure that it was clear that like there may be really exciting things. I mean, I'm very excited about some pieces of the DPIN narrative. To Sleeps' point that there's a cash grab. You can literally say cash grab about every single thing in crypto. I mean, that's how it works. Okay, like no one should be surprised that there's cash grabbiness. But that doesn't mean that there's not like a cool reason for someone to want to cash grab. Like whenever something becomes, the inspiration for 4,000 derivative cash grabs, it's because it was cool. Like the reason that everyone and their grandmother who launches a blockchain that gets NFT capabilities first makes an ape and a punk collection is because originally apes and punks were cool and they want to cash grab off of the cool factor. So like you're going to have the same thing in DPIN. And all I want is people to know that if you are just buying a cryptocurrency because it is in the DPIN narrative, this is where that initial like research flow of question and answer that you have to go through comes in super, super, super important. Why does the cryptocurrency that you just bought, why does that matter in the world where we're talking about physical devices and infrastructure pieces? Like, what is that crypto doing for you? Because chances are it's probably not doing anything for you.
Yeah.
So just
which is why when everyone asks about BlockDAG, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because I did that and I can't answer the question.
But anyway.
Yeah, and then Nick, I think that's a beautiful cherry on top of what Alex just said, is all crypto is literally a Ponzi or gambling, at least at the start. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Although we did start with Bitcoin. Officially, we did start with Bitcoin. So we started off great, and then, kind of went downhill. And then Ethereum came out. We're like, hey, we're doing better. And then Ethereum opened up the door for way more garbage. ICOs, but they were a good thing, ultimately. So what I wanted to bring up to you guys is I wanted to ask you, and this is for the chat also. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The top 8 chains just came out for also, Evan, that's a beautiful little.
I'm in pursuit of modesty over here, man.
It looks great. It looks like it's designer. These are the top 8 chains out of all chains that have the best 12-month retention of users. Okay? So there are 8 of them, so that's difficult, but the top 3, and now included in this are layer 2 scaling solutions for Ethereum as well, as ranked as their own separate chains. Okay? So what do you think the top 4 are?
User retention. So like, just so I make sure, people who started using it have continued using it.
Have stayed, yes.
Over
a year.
Ethereum.
Arbitrum.
Mm-hmm.
Over a few more. This is specifically over a year?
Yeah, over a year.
In the past 12 months?
Okay. Past 12 months.
L1s and L2s or just L1s? I'm sorry, because I said Arbitrum.
And L2s.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I'm going, I'm going to spray and pray. It's hard for me to choose. Sol, Arbitrum.
Yeah.
Probably Arbitrum ahead of Sol for stickiness. Optimism, Base, and then I don't know.
All right.
I have almost an identical list. I would say, like in terms of users, I'm gonna throw Ronin in there just as the haymaker. Okay. Just because I know that as far as gamers go, like that's where more gamers are chilling.
We got some good guesses in the comments too.
Yeah,
but yeah, ETH. I mean, I don't know. I know that one that really surprised me that I'm now curious if it's going to like just pop out of the woodwork again is Crow.
Yeah.
All right. You guys want to hear what it is, starting from number 8 to number 1?
Yes. Yeah. Do the reverse countdown because we've got some really good ones in the comments. I'm curious about Telegram, BNB, maybe. I don't know. Give it to us, Will.
And again, guys, this is the top chains that have the best retention of users over an entire year, the past 12 months. Number 8 is Ethereum. Just main chain at 3.58% retention over a full year. Next is Tron at 4.32%. Kind of makes sense because people who use Tron are just using Tron really in Asian markets. Next is BNB chain at 6.92%, which also I don't find necessarily too surprising. Then in the number 5 spot is Avalanche. Avalanche at 8.3%.
Wow.
Which I think is pretty damn good showing for Avalanche, particularly because like the price just hasn't done great. But 8.3%. Now the top 4, and the 4th one surprised me, but I guess not in like a crazy way. Near Protocol at 9.59%. Yeah, kind of makes sense. Their user account is gigantic, but yeah. Near Protocol at 9.59%.
Interesting.
And then the top 3. It's interesting that these are the top 3 to me, but the degree to which they, the top 2 smoke everybody else is wild to me. So Polygon is number 3. Polygon is at 9.67%. And the top 2% are wild in terms of the percentage. Number 2 is Arbitrum. Arbitrum has a 19.74% retention. That is 10% higher than Polygon.
Yeah.
And then number 1 is Base at 27% retention.
Wow.
Bananas.
27% retention. That's crazy. That is fucking sticky.
That's huge.
That is nuts. And that's 8% above Arbitrum?
Yeah, I mean, that is 8% above Arbitrum. And that is 22.5%, 23.5% above Ethereum mainnet.
And this is users, developers, anybody who uses the protocol over a year has stayed. That's the percentage of people who stayed.
Addressers that have been active and continue to be active.
Wow.
At least once a month over the past 12 months.
You know what makes me immeasurably happy about that list? Is that number 1 goes to the one network that doesn't have a token.
Yeah, you're right. And also it blows my mind Solana's not on this list. People got burned on
Solana's too wishy-washy for people.
I was going to say, you know what doesn't surprise me about, now that I think about it, because I was initially surprised that Solana's not on the list, but if we're talking specifically about retention, not volume, people are like dipping in and out of Solana, they get burned on a meme, and then they never come back. That makes more sense. So there might be 1,000 times more people doing that on Sol than somewhere else, but like nobody is going to Base just to get rugged on a meme and then leaving.
Yeah.
Very
true. Yeah, Sol is the Las Vegas of chains.
Yeah.
And the proof is in the numbers. Base, I'll go through that again, guys. Base, 27%. Arbitrum, 19.74%. Polygon, big drop here, 9.67%. Near Protocol is number 4. Avalanche is number 5. BNB is number 6. Tron is number 7. Ethereum is number 8. Crazy. It's
I'm honestly really surprised about those middle ones. I'm not surprised about Avalanche. I am a little surprised that Polygon at 9% is the only one on this list.
That's the only one that's shocking to me out of the entire list is Polygon.
Yeah.
What's shocking to me about it is how much less retention the other chains must have for Polygon to be number 3. And I'm honestly, I don't know. When I compare it to AVAX or Near or BNB or Tron or anything, I'm not that surprised. I am kind of surprised that Optimism's not on the list. But I wonder if they surveyed that. Arbitrum, for comparison, if you go to DeFi Llama right now, if you're playing along at home, and just pull up like active users, developers, we haven't heard a lot about Arbitrum from like everybody's favorite influencers lately, but your favorite influencer's favorite developer is paying attention to Arbitrum, and also obviously Base. But their numbers are they're increasing, they're climbing.
Yeah, very much so. And
I imagine, Evan, that the optimism retention gets rolled into Base. Like the reason that people are most into optimism is probably for Base. And so if they're going to do stuff, it's probably going to be through Base as the vehicle. But I mean, I think that optimism should get some credit for Base's retention, to be honest.
Oh, well,
and
very
much. My Near, huh? Will?
Huh?
I was talking to Will.
What was the question?
I said you were surprised by Near.
I was surprised by Nier just because, I mean, I was surprised by it, but at the same time, it shouldn't have been because Nier's user levels are astronomical. They just don't have a DeFi environment. Like their user protocols for their top 5 dApps would all be the top 5 dApps on Solana by a country mile when it comes to active users and addresses. So it shouldn't be too big of a surprise, but like, you know, it's just Near Protocol is just kind of sneaky. You know, it's just like sneakily being a really good chain that people use a lot, and that it doesn't get talked about as much as it does, you know, as like Solana and Base and Toncoin lately, and you know those. So Near Protocol has just been this like really sneaky platform that, to me, it just like keeps slowly going up in my book as like more and more time goes by.
Well, something that is just worth noting is that the way that this metric is worded specifically does not take into account the number of users, but just the percentage of them that stay there repeatedly. So like Base could get 27% in this metric while only having 100 people on it, whereas Solana could have 100,000 people regularly staying on it. But if their overall user amount was 10 times higher than that, then they would pull at a much lower metric than this. So I do think it's worth just pointing that out, because I think this metric is a little bit like, it's important, but by itself, it's misleading.
Yeah.
Yes, but the thing is you take this and like with all data sets, you got to compare it to a bunch of other things. But if you have a sticky platform that's growing and has attention, you know, potential for rocket fuel, and Base has that. Base's numbers are
100%. Yeah. It is it's undeniably important, and I would make the point that like this as an ingredient, if you don't have it, you can't succeed in any sort of like long-term meaningful way. I just mean like if you were, just because I know this is crypto and this is how crypto works, if you are buying things exclusively based off of this one metric on this one list, that context is important.
Yeah, totally.
Agreed. But if you guys want to see that,
real quick.
Sorry, can you post that in Discord, Will?
Yeah, I'll post
I would love it. And if you're not going to make a video about that, I'm totally going to steal it. But
I think we all should. I'm going to talk about it too. All three of us would make that video differently, which is why it's worth to have all 3 people do it. You know?
I want to do it just like Will did it, where you ask people to guess and then go backwards, because that was thrilling. That was actually, we're way too nerdy because that was way fun.
That's definitely
my
fun.
question was going to be a slight change of topic, if it's okay. I was going to ask you a short question, Will, about what did you share yesterday about on-chain summer, and they're giving away a Bitcoin, they're giving away like 5 ETH, several $100 in USDC. Can you tell our audience about that? Because that's good to share.
Yes, if you would like a chance to win 1 Bitcoin, 5 people are also going to win 1 Ether, and then 20 people are going to win 500 USDC. And when markets are red, we all like free stuff. We like it always, but particularly when portfolios are down. And so this is the part of the on-chain summer event that ends at the end of this month. And what Base has done is that they have made this on-chain summer pass. And what you do is this summer pass is it keeps track of points. And those points you earn by being active on Base. Go and like mint a bunch of free stuff. And if you go on Google and you type in on-chain summer pass, it'll bring you to the page, open it up. It'll take you to your wallet, open it up within your wallet, your Coinbase wallet. And then it will tell you like, hey, you can opt in to the giveaway. And you know, you have this pass, and it'll say like, hey, you can mint stuff for 500 points. You can mint this for 1,000 points. And like, typically if it's like a 500 point mint, it's free. The 1,000 point mints I've experienced have been like 27 cents.
Yeah.
You know,
I just minted their latest one for like 20 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then they have like a spin the wheel game that you spin, and it gives you points for the day. And then you get these badges, which as a former Cub Scout really satisfies that. And so like, it gives me a badge for like the amount of transactions I've had on Base, for the amount of NFTs that I have, for if I've built anything on Base, all that kind of stuff. And you get these little badges, and they're nice. And as you continue to level that up and get more points, you get more drawings in the giveaway. And the giveaway ends at the end of this month. And then I think they will send out emails to the winners after like the first week of September, I think it was, or like September 4th or something like that. If you want to learn more about the giveaway and you have a Coinbase wallet, you can go into your Coinbase wallet, and right at the top, the first advertisement is the 1 Bitcoin giveaway. Click that, opt in, go to the on-chain summer pass, get active. And again, a lot of the stuff you can do on there, in fact, most of it are free mints, just pay for gas fees. And so, yeah, like, might as well put your, Evan, that's it right there. So yeah, go on, get active. Might as well put your name in the drawing, get a few mints. Even if you don't get your on-chain summer pass to the highest level you can to maximize your potential drawings, still throw your hat in the ring, because 1 Bitcoin, 1 Ether, 500 USDC, shit, that's nice to have. So yeah, check it out, guys. It's worth getting involved in, I think.
On-chain summer, baby. I have to go in just a minute, so can I give my final thought real quick?
Of course.
Thank you kindly, and thank you for hosting. I want to say, to address this question in the comments about incentives, on-chain summer and Bases Network are a great example of a different way to do things. When somebody wants to innovate and their means to do it is to release a token that they sell you, and that's their product, that's their incentive, that's their reward, they create this transactional environment where when those rewards stop because there are no more VCs to pay for them, because they haven't got a revenue producing product, because all the rewards have been released, what happens? People leave the ecosystem. We've watched it happen with every play to earn game. After every airdrop, we see it again and again and again with cryptocurrency businesses whose only product is a speculative token. What Base is doing here is not necessarily the way, but it is a way to tell a better story. Their token is ETH, the Ether token, the token of the Ethereum network. They are an L2 that extends the value of that token. They are not going to release a token, they've said, and this has been their position since day one, because they want to extend the value of Ethereum as a network, capitalize on it, and be the front door. Coinbase, the company, and their network Base specifically, the front door through which people come to the whole blockchain ecosystem, which they believe largely will live on Ethereum, the way that most commerce happens in cars on highways in our world today. That is why they are leaning so heavily into on-chain. And do not make the mistake of thinking that because there is no token, that there are no rewards and there are no incentives. Spin the wheel is a silly example, but it is a good example. There are rounds you can participate in. Just do stuff online, build something, post something, share something, earn money. I made 2 videos about coffee days for on-chain summer, and I'm gonna earn $130 in ETH for that because it's on-chain. It's verified. And over time, those mechanisms will become more plentiful, sophisticated, easier to use, and they are not going to be, most of them, speculative. So when we say you can make money here and you don't have to gamble, that is what we're talking about. This is a different kind of model. You can't think about it the same way. So check out On-Chain Summer, check out Warpcast, check out the places where opportunities like this are, because that is a model for what the future will move like. If you're hot, get yourself a scarf like this because it looks really cute and it can keep you modest. And then join us on Rise Up After Dark tomorrow. We'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be in the Discord. Thank you guys for having me. I love you.
See you, dude. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's one of those things. I think it's a no-brainer. Every time I offer advice to a project or anyone doing anything in Web3, my first pro tip is don't launch a token. It will consume you. It becomes the only thing that you focus on.
Yeah.
It becomes the only thing that anybody cares about. And what Base did here was ingenious, and I felt very validated in watching this play out well, because it's my biggest piece of advice. The number one way that you can shoot yourself in the foot is by creating a token. Because they are just almost guaranteed to be flashes in the pan, and it will consume you. Wouldn't you just rather focus on doing the thing that your project is supposed to do and let someone else worry about managing the token? You just everyone wants utility, so give them utility. Give them something else that they can do with a token. It's I was just in a pitch meeting for our mobile game with someone, and he asked me token plans, and I was like, I don't want one. I would rather just use your L1. And he was like, yeah, okay, great. And I was like, yeah, or USDC, I don't care. And he's like, yeah, okay, perfect. This is awesome.
Wonderful.
It's instantly better.
Oh, also, one other base-related news is there are now, and this was yesterday, officially 1 million USDC holders across unique addresses. So, not individual people, but, still pretty damn good.
That's big. Yeah. That's one thing that I'm like, if we talk about flippening all the time, originally the flippening was ETH flipping Bitcoin. Then for a while there was talk about Solana flipping ETH.
Mm-hmm.
The flippening I'm interested in is USDC overtaking Tether.
Yes, because that would just make me feel good. Although with Tether being a huge bond buyer, I want people to know that I don't really have any fears really of Tether being this implosion kind of awful stablecoin. It seems like they've been fixing that, but it would be nice if they were just a little more clear with their audits. But
but I get it. It's a business. I mean, they've never. I understand the skepticism. I don't understand the rampant fear porn about it.
Yeah, but fear makes good content. So
for sure.
There it is.
I understand it in that sense that I would rather scare you than educate you, because scary videos are more sticky than teaching videos.
Yeah, or just make a video about anything political and then let the comment section just run. People scream at each other. Oh, the internet around election season.
Pro tip: zero expertise or information or knowledge of any kind is required to be a political commentator. You can just word vomit on your phone, and it counts as political content. And that's what almost all of it is.
Woo!
Imagine knowing anything. It upsets me deeply, if you can't tell.
No, it's good. It's good, Alex. Just let it wash over you. Just let the mud of politics,
misinformation, the mud of misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
fear is the mind killer.
Nothing bad has ever come of rampant misinformation.
Well, I'm looking on crypto Twitter right now to get a feel, and I see people talking about expecting a meteoric rise back up to $62,000, $63,000. So the sentiment on crypto Twitter is still pretty positive right now. I am worried, but if Nvidia comes up with good earnings, I'll be in a good spot. But
that's at 5 today, 5 Eastern.
That's at 5 Eastern. Everyone should be tuned in for that, and I might be able to make a video on it. I might not. What time is it? No, yeah, I'll be able to. I was like, am I going to be drinking alcoholic bubble tea and eating ramen at that time? No, it'll be a little bit later. Nothing will distract me from my alcoholic boba tea and ramen.
Can I just say, I was complaining about this to Christina the other day. This is one of my current life missions that I just can't do. So if someone happens to be an expert, help me. One of my favorite meals on earth is stir fry, and I have just been trying to perfect it, to make it myself, and it's just never right. And I don't know. I truly don't know what I'm doing wrong. Something is off with the noodles.
Okay. I was about to say, I don't know how you're messing up stir fry. Yeah, I do cook.
Okay, so
every stir fry I've ever done comes out pretty solid, but I don't throw the noodles in.
So okay, what's your noodle flow? What's the noodle process for you?
Well, for me, it's when you say stir fry, I don't throw the noodles in there. It's just just meats, vegetables cooked up, throw in some soy sauce, a couple other seasonings, and then bam, it kind of comes out pretty good.
And just pour it over noodles after.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I just do the classic Italian thing where I just make the noodles, throw them against the wall, it sticks, boom, plate, noodles.
Okay. I don't know. There's something about it. It always gets messed up whenever I try to add the noodles to the pan, and they just always get ruined with all of the stir fry stuff.
Sorry. Evan goes, bro, why are you talking about this after I'm gone?
Sorry, Evan. I didn't know you were gonna have super strong, passionate feelings about stir fry. My inability to stir fry noodles.
Oh God, I got to get you guys up to Boston and take you to some ramen spots, because it's all my two favorite ramen spots are also next to that super nerdy store I told you about, the Friar Tuck store.
Yes.
It has the magic cards and the comic books and the Pokemon cards.
No, I love ramen.
I love stir fry. Oh, sorry, man.
I'm a big fan. Anyway, Will, as we wind down here, I know that we talked about a whole bunch of different things today. Are you? So like right now, someone was asking like, are we bullish or bearish? And I know that it's like a fleeting question. But it is actually, like, in today's specific instance, kind of a good one, because I genuinely couldn't tell you. Like, we flash dumped like crazy yesterday, and I remember someone on Twitter's being like, what is happening? And I was like, my prayers are being answered. Because like I've kind of wanted to get more stuff, but I was like, I don't really want to right now, because we feel like just wishy-washy enough. So I've been like holding off, and then we flashed down yesterday, and I bought ETH on it. That was my contribution, which I figured was safe because I bought it on base too.
Nice. Keeping that stickiness going.
Exactly. I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. Starship Troopers reference.
At the end of the day, like that is the way that I'm buying all crypto that I buy right now. Like if I buy Bitcoin, I don't care what my price is, because we are under the all-time high, and I personally don't believe that we are in any kind of a world where it's never going to go above where it is right now. That just doesn't enter my conviction. ETH, I use it every single day. So if I get some more of it, great. I get to hold something that I have real conviction in, but also like I just bought a thing that I plan on using. So that's awesome. Carol, great question. We can answer that in just a second. But that's the same reason that I bought Ronin, or I bought Avalanche, or Solana. It's like, okay, not only do I want to speculate on the potential upside here, but in the event that it doesn't, guess what? I still get to use it. I still get to do DeFi with it. If the price of it goes down, so if I buy Sol, for example, I buy one Sol for 160, whatever. Price goes down to 140. I still have a Sol, and for example, all of the different bustling Sol DeFi ecosystem stuff, I can take that Sol into the DeFi ecosystem and start doing things with it and turn it into more than one Sol. And that's phenomenal, and that's great. So I don't care so much about like these little price fluctuations, but on a day when like we get I feel a lot better about buying on stuff like that, which has been my only play. And if we peak back up to 160, 170, I'll probably sell some stuff. So really quick, buying ETH on base, I just do it through my Coinbase smart wallet, and I just pick the chain that I'm buying ETH on through Coinbase. So like my on-ramp inside of that smart wallet is my Coinbase account. So like I have a debit card attached to it, and I have my bank is linked there for withdrawals and for deposits as well. So that's literally all I did, just through the UI of my smart wallet browser extension. Actually, I mean, we could even do it real quick. Just pick an amount, and I picked the chain. Do I want it on mainnet ETH, or do I want it on base? And I just always pick base, because that's where it's going to end up anyway, because that's where I do all my stuff these days. And that's it. I can make a video, Carol, about that today, and I'll tag you in the comments for it.
What a guy right there. Service to others. But yeah, just on the first thought, it's like, am I bullish or bearish? I am. Mm-hmm. I've been saying I'm cautiously optimistic, and I say that because I see a potential scenario where Bitcoin goes up. Grant, I'm bearish on the stock market right now. I'm definitely bearish on the stock market, and I'm cautiously optimistic on Bitcoin because there's one scenario where Bitcoin can keep going up, which is that Bitcoin has lagged behind the stock market, which means that people may look to take their profits from stocks and put it into Bitcoin as a means of, and then potentially go from like the large cap stocks into like the Russell 5000, which are, or 2000, Russell 5000? I always mix up the name. But anyway, like smaller stocks, which have been laggards. Mm-hmm. And this could be a potential time where people look to do those sorts of things. But that trend hasn't populated yet. It is a potential scenario that I see playing out, which is why I'm cautiously optimistic. But I am still very worried about the macroeconomic picture of that has been created from having higher interest rates for longer, putting a lot of stress on the global financial system. I don't think we're out of the woods yet in terms of, having something worse than a soft landing, something where there's a fairly big dip in asset markets over the next 6 months. So, I am not looking to invest in the crypto market right now. I'm looking to trade in specific scenarios. And if those scenarios play out, great. If they fail, money back onto the sideline pretty damn fast. And then I'll wait to see Bitcoin show a strength. Because right now, if you look at the chart and open it up on the monthly time frame, all the way back since March, we've had lower highs and lower lows. The trend is still very much so downwards and has been for 5 months. So, until that trend shifts, there's not strength that we're seeing in the market. So it's hard to be really bullish when the bear trend we've been in for 5 months hasn't officially broken yet. And that's my official stance on it. So I'm still more so bearish. I'm cautiously optimistic for some bull scenarios that we're getting and potentially could play out right now, which could change my bearish stance into a bullish stance. But we still don't have a trend that shows us strength, which is my stance right now, which is why I have a short in the stock market on Amazon. And that's why I bought a small position in Aerodrome between the 60 to 66 cent range, just to see if Bitcoin can start to get some bullish momentum in the short term to be able to kind of play off of that. So that's what I've done. And then if I'm wrong, right? If that bullish scenario is wrong and Bitcoin goes down and my Aerodrome altcoin position goes down, which is much smaller than my short position on Amazon, then I'll lose some money on that Aerodrome, but I make money on my Amazon short, which is a much larger position, and I either will come out net neutral or slightly in the positive. Hopefully, knock on wood.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that's a really good way to phrase it. Being more interested in trying some different trade scenarios right now versus making a long-term commitment on something, because that is how I feel. I haven't phrased it that way, but I like that. I like the way that you worded that.
Yeah, Eli, you're so a lot of people are waiting for how big the rate cut is. However, people who want there to be a 50 basis point reduction, for those of you who don't know basis point, that is a 0.5% reduction in interest rates set by the Fed, which is likely to happen September 18th. If that happens instead of a 25 basis point, a lot of people are like, oh, cool, they're being really aggressive with the cut. That's good for markets and liquidity. That's going to be bad for markets. The reason why it's going to be bad for markets is everyone's going to go, wait, you're cutting aggressively? What do you know is broken that we don't know? Why are you being this aggressive with it if you told us you're in control? The market wants to see a 25 basis point cut. That's what the market wants to see because it signals to everybody that the Fed is in control, that the Fed thinks we're going to have a nice controlled landing. If they come out with a 50 basis point reduction, you're going to see people freaking out about what the Fed knows and what they see breaking, which is forcing them to be really aggressive. But Canada, multiple 25 basis point cuts would be a very controlled, a very reasonable, a very safe, secure, providing confidence to the market approach. If they can come out and say, hey, we're cutting interest rates by 25 basis points now, we're going to continue to monitor the data, but we hope to do another one, maybe another two before the end of this year. That would be a really good sign to markets. But if they come out with a 50 basis point reduction, it's going to be really bad for markets. So despite it on paper seeming like a good thing.
being, not super read into all this, and I'm by no means an economist, hearing that analysis to me makes sense, and it really makes me wonder what the reason would be. So you let's say hypothetically that it's a bigger than 25 basis point cut. And as you said, that could indicate to markets that, like, hey, something more serious is broken that needs to get addressed by a more aggressive cut. And that the response to that would probably be negative. That to me says, like, hey, if I'm the Fed and what I want is to make this as good as possible, why on earth would I even consider going above 25 basis points for that? Like, if something was egregiously broken and I either thought that people didn't know or it hadn't manifested fully, I think that I would be incentivized to just do 25 if that would be better for markets and protect the sanctity of the market than I would to try to aggressively fix something that was theoretically broken and just cause more panic and problems.
Well, it depends on the cost. It depends on the cost analysis. They play these games, they go, cool, if we cut to 50 basis points, the markets should slide by X amount, which should cause this much damage to markets. Unemployment could go up by this much. But if this thing breaks, which may be the mid-sized banking sector in the United States, who have a crazy amount of unrealized losses in markets at the moment, they go, cool, if those guys can't pay their loans, and then there's a run on the banks, they don't have the money to continue to pay the interest on those loans. It becomes like a domino cascading effect of which one's worse, if all those things start going under, if there's a run on the banks, is that more unemployment or less than us, going the other route with interest rates? So that's the question they ask themselves.
Makes sense.
But the thing is they don't want to sow panic, because the last thing in the world they want to do is cause a run on the banks who have a ton of unrealized losses, which would cause a huge catastrophe in the mid-sized banking sector in the U.S., which would be, boom, recession. There you go, immediately. Immediate recession. Hard.
Especially on the eve of an election.
Yeah, so they're more than likely going to say 25 basis points. And then he's going to come out and say, we're going to keep monitoring the data. I almost guarantee you he does. Yeah, we're going to go month by month, 25 basis points. He's not going to give any more direction as to what he's going to do in the future, is what I think. But he's going to be like, but we have officially changed stance and positioning at the Fed. So,
Time will tell, as it always does.
Yes. Time shall tell. Well, I'm feeling pretty well met. Guys, if you have any final questions, hop on in here. If you have any recipe suggestions for stir fry and noodles, Alex could use them. Help. Yeah. But yeah, guys. Anyway, I'm feeling well met.
Sweet, I am too. So I'll give. I'll lightly read us out here. If you are not joined us in Discord, that was a fantastic sentence, and you can expect more sentences like that from me if you join us in Discord, where the show lives on 24/7. If you have questions, things to go over, things that you're curious about, things that you're workshopping, things you're thinking about, things you're considering, whatever, that is the place to put it. It is always better, especially when you're learning about something new like this, to get feedback and workshop on your ideas and your theories and whatever. Throw it in Discord. Get some input from other people. The other nice thing about it too is that we monitor it during the live show, the general chat, and I know firsthand how tough it is sometimes to get everything you're trying to get into TikTok comments. You have to split it up into multiple comments. Things get lost randomly. TikTok just nerfs one comment and it doesn't come through because you had a period in the wrong place or something. So Discord's the place to be. There's a link in Will's bio. There's a link in my bio. You can also go to theriseupmorningshow.com and there's an invite link there. If for whatever reason those links don't work, just DM one of us and we'll get you in there.
I haven't heard, Will, lately. Did because I know you posted a video about it. Are the TikTok bio links starting to work a little bit better, or
I don't know, because I didn't get a single DM. We had a bunch of people join the Discord after I made a video talking about the Discord, but I didn't get a single DM from people saying, hey, the link didn't work. So I'm assuming the link just worked this time for most people.
All right.
Which is nice. Also, guys, we will be doing the second episode of the Rise Up morning show After Dark tomorrow at 7 p.m. was the time? 8 p.m.?
6 p.m. Eastern. Or sorry, 8 p.m. Eastern. Exactly 12 hours
8 p.m.
after the start of the morning
time,
show.
7 o'clock Central. It'll be on my channel. And again, if you're in the Discord, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing altcoin research and reviews. So go into the Discord, let us know what altcoins you want us to cover. I will put a prompt up that you guys can respond to probably later today. And then let us know what coins we should start with. And you can do that in the Discord. But that's it for the day, guys. And that's not it for the day. My Amazon shorts up another 0.73%, baby. Woo! Screw you, Bezos. But don't take away my Amazon Prime. I need it and rely on it, please. No, Papa Bezos, no. I am sorry. I am sorry, Papa Bezos. Yeah, sell that Amazon stock, guys. I got a couch to pay for. Casual $5,000. God.
Anyway, we will see all of you guys same time, same place
Crypto
tomorrow.
Machinery. We're doing the altcoin review and grading tomorrow on my live. Myself, Evan, and Alex. Crypto Rise Up After Dark tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But that's it, guys. Hope to see you in the Discord. Have a great day. Make a bunch of money. Be good people. Do good things. Take care of your skin. Yeah. Have a good time.